So today's topic and today's lab activity is about what we call hard water. Well, let's look at this as a process. Look what's going on in this picture. This much we already know. It rains, and when rain hits the ground, it can infiltrate into the ground, and as it moves through the ground, it can pick up stuff. It can pick up minerals. So that means down here where we have that large collection of water under the ground, that aquifer, that water isn't just pure water. It's got little minerals it's picked up from the ground as it moved to the groundwater. This also means when the water comes back to the surface, it's going to have those minerals in it. And in the first part of the lab, you simulated this. You put some limestone in a bottle, you shook the bottle, and then the bottle got cloudy. Because as you were shaking the bottle, some of the water grabbed minerals from the limestone. Well, it did the same with the granite. But notice the granite was a lot more clear. It wasn't nearly as many minerals given up by the granite than by the limestone. So let's define hard water before we move on here. It's a pretty simple definition. Hard water is water from the ground that has a lot of minerals in it. And in part A, you saw that the limestone got a lot more cloudy. It gave up a lot more minerals as the water was shaking around the rock. So that would make hard water. Soft water is is water that doesn't have many minerals. Like our granite, the water was still pretty clear because granite didn't give up many minerals to the water. Now, it isn't an absolute just hard and soft. There's actually a sliding scale like you see over here. To be soft means you don't have hardly any minerals in there, but you can be hard or you can actually even be very hard and somewhere in between. Now, there is a scientific definition, a count as to how many minerals we're talking about. We're not going to get that detailed. I just want you to realize that this scale going from soft to very hard describes the relative amount of minerals that's in the water. So what do we see from part A? First of all, here's the big idea that water from the ground is going to have minerals in it because the water, as it moves through the rock, is going to pick up minerals. It's going to happen. But we also saw that different ground or rock will have different amounts of minerals that it allows to go into the water. Now, the implications for us, if your town or your house uses well water or groundwater for your needs, that means that as the water comes in your house, you've got the minerals in with the water that is moving through your house. Well, think of all the places that water goes in your house. Let's start off with the bathroom and look at a toilet. So when you flush the toilet and the water goes down the drain here, well, new water comes flowing in from underneath the rim, and it slides down the bowl, and it fills up to the bowl till it stops. Well, this part of the bowl, even though it's not underwater, has a little light coating of water on it because it's a little damp, right? But that water evaporates. Minerals don't. So what happens is the minerals get left behind. You can see actually kind of where the water was sliding down into the bowl because that's where minerals are left behind. This is not necessarily dirty. It's not gross. It's minerals in the water that get left behind. You can really see it in this old sink, this old overflow valve in a sink. As water was getting too high in the sink and it starts to drain out through that overflow drain, well, the minerals kind of get left behind and they pile up, and you can see the pile of minerals from that water. Any place that has water in the bathroom, you could see evidence of hard water. Notice on the shower head, you got kind of that crusty stuff there. You got a little film on this shower head. Those are minerals that were in the water that when you turned off the shower and the water finished draining out, some of the minerals got left behind. In this case over here, here's a glass wall in a bathroom, and taking a shower and the water splashes onto the wall and the water evaporates, but you can see that soapy, filmy residue that gets left behind. That's the minerals from the hard water. On this sink right here, on this faucet for a sink, it's very shiny, it's silvery looking, it's chrome, and you can't help but splash water on it because you wash your hands, whatever, and the water gets splashed. Well, the water evaporates, but what you see is the little residue from the minerals that had been in the water. These are all examples of hard water. Here's an interesting sign from a real fancy wedding venue. This is up in Bartow County. And they actually had these little signs that, hey, our toilets are clean. Don't worry about this stuff. It's not that we don't clean our toilets, it's that we're using groundwater. And that groundwater's got minerals in there, and it's going to leave a residue behind. Sometimes the residue will actually smell. And so this sign's like, oh wait, hey, we have well water here. We're using well water that has a lot of minerals in it, and you can actually smell it.
So this is a water bottle filling station at the Palm Springs, California airport, and this is an area that gets all of their drinking water from under the ground, which means there's a pretty good chance it has dissolved minerals in it, that hard water, and you can see evidence of it here. You can see this kind of scum here when the minerals were deposited on the surface once the water evaporated. You can really see it up there. Now, this doesn't hurt you, it's just minerals, it's hard water because they get their drinking water from under the ground.
So is hard water bad for you? No. The minerals that are in hard water are generally not harmful to you. Matter of fact, most of them are naturally occurring and you need them for your health. So in some cases, hard water can actually be good for you if you have a diet where you're missing some of these essential minerals. Now, the minerals in the water can be to a point, especially if it's classified as hard, that you can actually taste them. Sometimes to the point where you don't like the flavor of the water because you're tasting all the minerals that are in the water.
So in places where you have hard water, if you don't want to drink those minerals, you'll often find little stations or kiosks like this where you can go and you can buy water that is free of minerals, has been purified. Now we won't see these in Metro Atlanta because we don't have hard water, but these are actually very common in the Midwest and in Florida where they have hard water.
You'll see stores or vending machines that sell purified water because you don't like the taste of the minerals in the water that comes from your groundwater source. Once again, you don't see these much in our area because we don't tend to have hard water. Now, the thing is about all those previous examples of the results of hard water, you can see them. But think about all the places in your house where you don't ever actually see the water. Think about a teapot, an old-fashioned teapot that you would put on the stove. Well, you never clean out the inside of it, and you think, oh, you're just putting water in there, right? But if the water is hard, over time you get to build up a residue of minerals, and sometimes to the point where you could taste it. One of the most serious problems is with your hot water heater in your house. This is a tank that has 40 gallons worth of water in there. It has a heating element that keeps the water hot. Well, if the water comes out and the minerals get left behind, over time the minerals can pile up. They can coat the heating element. They can gunk it up, which makes the hot water heater not work very efficiently. Makes it more expensive for you. Your water doesn't get as hot. Over time, you can have something like this where you wind up with a full thick residue of minerals at the bottom. It could actually clog your hot water heater, and it certainly makes it where it's taking up space that you want to be taken up by water and not a pile of minerals.
So this here is an old iron pipe before modern water treatment. And natural spring water was from the ground was run through this and brought into the city of Lisbon, Portugal. And you can see this is lime from the limestone that the water came out of, and you can see how much it has clogged and blocked the pipe. This is a very good example of how mineral buildup from hard water can be a problem.
You can see this. These are all examples of, hey, you got hard water and the minerals get deposited inside the pipes. Well, now the pipes don't work as well because they're not as big as we originally intended them to be. You can also feel some effects of hard water, especially when you wash your hair. You might have experienced this someplace if you've traveled to someplace where they use groundwater, especially in places like Florida or in the Midwest. Well, the trick is this water coming out of the shower, you run it over your hair, and that water grabs the shampoo in your hair and takes it out of your hair, takes the dirt with it, and you've got clean hair. But hard water doesn't grip or remove the shampoo as easily. So if you've ever been someplace and it feels like it's kind of slimy trying to rinse the soap out of your hair or the shampoo out of your hair, that's a pretty good indication that they have hard water and the shampoo can't grab, or so the water can't grab the shampoo as easily. So in places like that, they'll actually sell different types of shampoo. They sell shampoos that can work with the minerals as opposed to shampoos that can't work that well. See, situations like this, the big difference, you can get a mineral residue left behind on your hair because there's minerals in the water, and that can affect the quality of your hair after you wash it. Hard water can also affect laundry because the minerals can get left behind, and especially with things like whites. You won't notice this as much with colors, but if you have something that is perfectly white, well, over time, over years, you wind up with a mineral buildup in that fabric, and it doesn't look pure white anymore. This was from a spring in South Korea where they said, hey, this particular water has a lot of iron in it. Be careful if you have white or light colored clothing, it may get discolored from the minerals that are in the water. Now let's explain how this works. So we got water and we got dirt, and we want to get dirt out of my clothing or out of my hair. The trick is with water, water can't grab dirt that easily. They don't stick together that well. This is why we have to use soaps. If you just wash your hands with water, they don't come very clean. Well, here's how a detergent works. Basically, a detergent is a bridge. Water doesn't stick to dirt, and dirt doesn't stick to water very easily. However, a detergent molecule is one that will stick to water, and it'll stick to the dirt. Well, that means if you wash away the water, you flush the water, if you have this bridge detergent molecule, the dirt then gets washed away. This is why we use soaps and detergents to get rid of dirt. Here's the problem with hard water. The water is already holding or stuck to minerals, so it can't stick to the detergent and pull the dirt out. So when you take a shower and your shampoo is a type of detergent, it gets left behind because the water is already holding on to too many minerals. And we saw that in this activity. The difference between the hard water and the soft water. Notice that the soft water was able to make a whole lot more bubbles. But the hard water over here, the detergent doesn't foam up as well. It doesn't work as well because the water can't grab the detergent. It's already holding on to minerals. Well, our tap water experiment was kind of in between the hard water and the soft water, but it was a lot closer to being like the soft water than it was the hard water. So what does that tell us about our tap water? That means our tap water in our area is pretty soft, which kind of makes sense because remember, we don't use a whole lot of groundwater here anyway. We're using river water, and we treat it first. So anything that might be in the water, we take out and we purify. So we have very soft water coming out of our taps. So the big idea from part B is we don't have hard water in our area. Well, why? It's two reasons. One, we get our water from rivers and lakes and not from the ground. Remember, this idea of hard water is specifically when most of the water is coming out of the ground. But even if you used a well for water here, and some people can and do, the rock under our feet is granite, and that doesn't make hard water. So even if you have a well, you're going to tend to have softer water. So let's review some hard water problems. Anything in the home that uses water is affected by hard water. Dishwashers, they can get clogged. Ice makers especially get clogged. Anything that has a very fine spray of water has a tendency to get clogged because it's a very small opening for water, and then the water can't get out anymore. You also get residue left behind on dishes. It looks like things here are not clean because your water is hard, and it's very hard for the soap to remove the minerals. Remember, you can also get mineral buildup in pipes, which lessens your water supply. It builds up in your hot water heater, which causes it to not work as well or even break over time. So how do we correct these problems?
So this is at my parents' house in Florida, and that right there is their well. There's a pipe that goes deep underground, hits that water, brings it up out of the ground, and sends it into the house. But because this is water coming out of the ground, it has a fair amount of minerals in it, which we know can cause problems inside. So the question is, what do you do about it? So inside my parents' house, that water from the well is run through this tank right here. This is called a water softener. And you put chemicals in there that help leach out those minerals in the water. So then the water that goes into the faucet and into the rest of the house doesn't have as many minerals in it, and it's not as hard, and you don't have those problems associated with hard water. So if you're in a location that has hard water and you use a water softener to take the minerals out of your water, there are some chemicals that you have to buy that the water softener uses to remove those minerals. And you can see out in front of this gas station in central Illinois where they have hard water, they have a huge pile of these bags of chemicals that you use for a water softener. So anytime you would see this, you know this is an area that has hard water because they're selling so many of these chemicals that people need.
Can you buy these here in Georgia? Yeah, I've seen them for sale, but there's like one small stack in the back far corner of Home Depot. But yet, in places where they have hard water and you need these regularly, they'll have them outside and in large quantities. Here's an example of before and after, or with or without a water softener. Notice that with the water softener, it's a lot more residue free, whereas over here, we got a lot more gunk left behind. Another example of hard water versus soft water and the difference between the amount of minerals that get left behind. Here's a product that you have to put in your iron if you have really hard water. If you're not familiar with how an iron works, you got to put water in here and it turns it to steam, and the steam comes out the bottom of the iron, helps iron your clothes. But minerals don't come out the iron. The minerals get left inside the iron, and if you're not careful, the iron will clog up and therefore not work. So in places that you know you have hard water, you're going to take this and put that in your iron instead of the tap water, which has too many minerals in it. So who's got hard water and who doesn't? There's going to be two main areas. Certainly in the Midwest is said to have hard water, and in the South, or sorry, in the Florida, and the more southerly you go in Florida, generally the harder the water is. Take a look at this Great Bend, Kansas drinking fountain. This is a place where they get most of their drinking water from the ground, and you can see, and from the spigot there, you see the residue that gets left behind because of all the minerals in the water. Here's a fountain from a spring in Oklahoma, and you can see down there at the bottom, you can see all the residue. In Florida, all that stuff there, all that white is minerals that were in the water when the fountain was in operation. So if we don't have hard water problems here in Georgia, why am I telling you all this? It's because you might not always live here. You might go somewhere else and experience some of these problems. This picture on the right is from a buddy of mine's house in Ohio, where they have hard water. Well, he spent the first 52 or 3 years of his life in Georgia, had never lived any other place where we didn't have to worry about hard water. And he moves to Ohio and he buys this house, and there's this big contraption in the basement. So one of my big goals in this class is just to make you aware of why things are different other places, so that at some point in your life and you get yourself into a situation, at least you have some kind of knowledge as to what this is and why it's important.